More UFO whistleblowers. Marco Rubio saying that senators have heard about crash retrieval. Objects under the sea that are apparently from extraterrestrial realms. What is going on? Do you still think it's a distraction? Hello there, you 6.4 million awakening wonders. Subscribe now. We're trying to get up to 6.5 million. Share this stuff around, because if the truth is out there and it's coming down here, we better get ready. Do you still think it's a false flag after Marco Rubio has said that senators are briefed about crash retrieval operations? This while interstellar vehicles have been tracked under the sea.
Under the sea.
I know a lot of you think that David Grush could be an anomaly, or he could be a former employee with an axe to grind. But those of us that have been UFO enthusiasts for a long time see this as an epochal moment, part of the quickening, the great revelations, the great changes. The rubric is falling apart, the paradigm is collapsing. The aliens are coming, or is it just false flag distractions to keep our mind off of Hunter Biden? Joe Biden won't debate. The mainstream media is censoring us everywhere. The EU are going to shut down big tech.
They will respect the law.
And Alf is on his way.
Better late than never.
Just hours ago, we finally got Rubio on camera, and what he said, it is big news. Senator Rubio says Grush is not the only high-level government official to come forward with these kinds of claims. There are others, he says. Let me say that again. Grush, who you saw on our air, is not the only one to come forward.
Our air. This is our air. High-level military personnel have been coming forward for ages. The phrase and the band name, Foo Fighters, is a euphemistic term that US fighter pilots used to use for odd shit they saw flying around. How determined are you to believe this is a false flag? It's because you've been lied to so much, right? You think, nah, if they're telling me, it can't be true. Life is not binary. Decisions are not binary like that. We have to go, wait a minute, these people are trying to control us, regulate us, use information to keep us distracted the whole time. And yet, it seems like we are experiencing genuine, legitimate, extra-dimensional phenomena. Let me know in the comments.
According to Rubio, others have come forward in secret to Congress.
We'll say there are people that have come forward to share information with our committee over the last couple of years.
Do you think the plant on the inside's thinking, I want to be out there with my mate on the outside?
I would imagine some of them are potentially some of the same people that perhaps he's referring to. I want to be very protective of these people. A lot of these people came to us even before these protections were in the law for whistleblowers to come forward. Some are public figures, and we've heard from them in the past. Others, have not shared publicly. And so we're trying to gather as much of that information as we can. And the reason why I'm being cautious, I'm not trying to be evasive, but I am trying to be protective of these people. Some of these people still work in the government. And frankly, a lot of them are very fearful of their jobs, fearful of their clearances, fearful of their career. And some, frankly, are fearful of harm coming to them.
What Jeremy Corbell, an expert in this space, says is that the government don't want these whistleblowers come forward. But of course, what many of you believe is we wouldn't be given this information if it weren't beneficial. But perhaps both of those things can be true. Perhaps it's being revealed now because they can't prevent it, because there are legitimate, genuine whistleblowers coming forward. But their intention is to use this as a kind of berserker strategy. Oh my God, Trump's being indicted. Hunter Biden's not paying his taxes. Zuckerberg and Elon are having a fight. The Titanic's coming back up. There are aliens now. Vote Democrat.
So that category of people who have firsthand knowledge, who say they have actually seen these kinds of things, do you find many of them credible?
Well, I don't find them either not credible or credible because we have no basis. Understand some of these claims are things that are beyond sort of the realm of what any of us has ever dealt with.
That plant up in that corner and the one in the house are really reaching out for each other now.
What I think we owe them is just a mature, understand, listening, and trying to put all these pieces together and just sort of intake the information without any prejudgment or jumping to any conclusions in one direction or another.
So it's pretty groundbreaking. There's a US senator sort of saying, I neither believe it or don't believe it. I'm just saying that it appears that there are crash retrieval. I think it's very difficult to coordinate conspiracies at that scale. Even with events of the last couple of years, I feel like it's more a convergence of interest, tight control of information, broad agenda to profit and regulate. These things can happen almost organically. I think it would be very difficult to get these people to cooperate. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if I'm way off.
I will say I find most of these people at some point, or maybe even currently, have held very high clearances and high positions within our government. So you do ask yourself, like, what incentive would so many people with that kind of qualification, these are serious people, have to come forward and make something up?
So there you go. It seems like there are credible, high-level witnesses. A senator willing to put his head above the parapet. I know a lot of you don't particularly respect high-profile political public figures, and I appreciate that. But it does seem that the narrative is shifting. This comes after Senator Josh Hawley said a recent UFO whistleblower's report is pretty close to information he received in a briefing. So we're now able to cross-reference different testimonies.
I was surprised when I learned that there were many of these unidentified and unaccounted for aerial platforms out there.
Another lawmaker raising concerns related to whistleblower David Grush's allegation that the government maintains a secret UFO retrieval program and has close to a dozen aircraft in its possession not believed to be made by human hands. Senator Josh Hawley says he can't verify whether the UAP program exists, but says some of the claims Grush is making track with what Hawley's heard in briefings.
This is extraordinary. This is a media phenomena as well. Because independent online media will cover stories more broadly, will speak to credible witnesses, the mainstream media now has to follow suit. So I think you discredit these stories. It wouldn't be on the mainstream media if it was true, but I think the mainstream media has to emulate independent media. You will now see someone like Michael Schellenberger, who is an anti-establishment figure, cropping up somewhere like Fox News because the agenda is being led by independent media, because ultimately news media requires outliers and genuine investigators to bring news stories. Its model is being broken down. They can't keep simply piping through information that they've been briefed by senior political figures and PR people, because the media space is fracturing because of independent media sites like this and Breaking Point and Jimmy Dore, now Tucker and obviously The Great Man. Now the space is changing, so they're literally having to do stories like this in order to be relevant and in order to some degree to control it. I don't think that means you can discredit and dismiss the information.
He's saying that the government knows more about this than they had previously let on. That doesn't really surprise me, because it looks to me like the government has been tracking these UAPs for a long time now and has not been saying much about it.
Also, multiple people reported seeing a rotating green light above them in Middletown, Ohio on June the 21st, and no one has managed to debunk the footage almost a week later. Remember how it used to be 20 years ago when you'd read some well-thumbed, weird Eric von Daniken story, Fingerprints of the Gods, or some out-there conspiracy theorists reporting, or you'll attend a conference at Roswell. The problem was always, why aren't there more confirmed sighting? Why isn't there more footage? Why aren't high-profile figures coming forward? Well, now all of those things are actually simultaneously happening. What is it that you want? A UFO to land in Times Square in the middle of the day? Well, I believe that there are diplomatic relations between the US government, Chinese government, and Russian government, where there are indeed like treaties actually that prevent that happening. Now, I know it sounds crazy, and I hope it doesn't make me sound outrageous, ludicrous, and ridiculous, but I've spoken to myself quite credible sources on this subject, and I now truly do believe that even if this is being used as a distraction, I'm in no position to persuade you that that's not what's happening. It probably is. You're probably right. You've been right before. What I also believe is this stuff's true.
We had multiple viewers reach out to us after they say they spotted those rotating green lights in the sky. Now, Caden Little of Middletown reached out, and he tells us he saw the lights around 10:30 or 11 last night. And take a look at this video he sent us. You can see a ring of bright green lights rotating in the sky, and another video taken by Bryce Garrick also shows those lights. And then all of a sudden, you can see the lights will quickly zoom off to the left of your screen, and then they just disappear.
Now, maybe another reason we're not seeing more of these guys is they're under the sea. Scientists are currently searching for the submerged remains of an interstellar object that crashed into the skies near Papua New Guinea in January 2014 and probably sprinkled material from another star system into the Pacific Ocean, according to an onboard diary by A.V. Loeb, the Harvard astronomer who is leading the expedition. The effort, which kicked off on June the 14th, aims to recover what is left of the otherworldly fireball using a deep-sea magnetic sled. Bloody hell, the news has gone crazy, hasn't it? Otherworldly fireball, magnetic sleds. I remember when it used to be, the Dow Jones reports are down by 5%. Get this crap off. Aliens just ate the Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ is having a fight with Mark Zuckerberg on Jeff Bezos' ball bag. The team has already turned up anomalous magnetic spherules, steel shards, curious wires, and heaps of volcanic ash. And Loeb is optimistic that the crew will identify pieces of Interstellar Meteor 1, IM1, the mysterious half-ton object that struck Earth nearly a decade ago, which he thinks thinks could be an artifact or a techno-signature from an alien civilization. So there you are, further advances that there is government awareness of extraterrestrial technology, potentially diplomatic relationships between extraterrestrial societies and our own government, high-profile whistleblowers continuing to share information, footage of extraterrestrial craft in the air, as well as ongoing subaquatic explorations that apparently reveal that whatever the truth is not what we thought it was broadly 30 years ago. The mainstream media is reporting about it now, probably because of changes in the media space, and I recognize what you're saying, that the government could be willing to share some information in order to distract us. But I think that now is the time where we have to start seriously considering that paradigm-breaking reality is upon us. The very thing we've been praying for, hoping for, an opportunity to significantly change the world. You know, like, because all of us believe we live in a dystopian and apocalyptic society. No one's willing to say, hey, it's gonna be all right. Even though this is the darkest hour, even though authoritarianism is on the rise, even though people are warring with one another, literally, like it's 100 years ago, we are gonna be okay. But if something as seismic as this occurs, it literally opens up new space. And with the psychedelic revolution underway, and with the communications revolution underway, and with independent media emerging, and with you awakening right now, perhaps we have more hope than ever before. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments below? Share your material with us. It really helps us. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at this from the stream. Here's another video that if you enjoyed this one, you will also enjoy. Turn on the notification bell and subscribe. I love seeing that number go up. It puts a smile on my face. Check out my Brandemic comedy special if you've got time to. It's fantastic and uncensored. You'll love it. But more important than any of that, please stay free.